Welcome to All About the Experiences. I am just so thrilled. We are like what now into our third week of 2021. And it hasn't been without its challenges. I mean, we have a new president and vice president in place. That's all I have to say. New beginnings, new opportunities for growth. And with that being said, today is my 26th episode. And I can honestly say that I learned so many incredible things, and I'm so inspired by each of my guests. And I learned something new about myself. And last week, we had the pleasure of having Dale Robinson, author of The Making of a Guru, on the platform. And his story is one of just facing adversity and creating your own destiny through establishing a guru mindset. And I've received so many calls, texts, DMs, emails, just about the positivity and that folks were encouraged. And I have to tell you, I was encouraged. I literally even had an aha moment during our conversation, just through him sharing his journey. And it spawned conversation in my household and also with my father. So, Dale, thank you for that. I was so appreciative. And I have to tell you, this week's guest comes from the same household. She is beautiful, intelligent, and driven. And she's the wife of Dale Robinson. He stated last week that he wanted me to get to know her and bring her on my platform because she too has an amazing journey. And she is a published author in her own right. And Dale was absolutely correct. Right before we started this recording, I had an opportunity to speak with her, and I already know we're in for a treat. She is a Frankfort, Kentucky native, and she is seeking to learn and lead as she navigates her path that God is leading her on. As an entrepreneur, author, and new mom, she is committed to growing into the woman she was called to be. And let me tell you, ladies, I mean, we all know that it's tough enough out here for us ladies, and especially when you add on, being a mom and a wife and forging your own way through your discovery of your platform or your job or whatever it is. We have a lot on our shoulders and we bear a lot. She has written a book. It's called Mommy's Promise. And that was inspired by the birth of her beautiful, beautiful little girl, Eliza Joyce. And again, not only is she a wife, a mother, an author, she's a community leader. And guess what? She and her husband are the co owners of Guru Fitness. And I have to tell you, it's nothing like being with your spouse, but when you guys can build together and sustain your family, that means so very much. So, without further delay, I welcome Taylor Robinson to the All About the Experiences Living Without Limits. Welcome, Taylor. Welcome to the platform. How are you?
I am doing so well and truly am honored that you're having me on. And I hope that I am as exciting as Dale talked me up to be.
Are you kidding me? Absolutely. We all know this. And I said this earlier. Behind every great man is a great woman, and vice versa. We know that as we move forward, especially into this new year, we take that side by side stance. And I'm a believer that, it's never always completely equal, but we all know that it takes the teamwork of those two people coming together to progress in this life and make things happen. And so I see you all doing it, and I see why he spoke so highly of you, because you're doing amazing things out here.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, let's get into it. So, everybody, the listeners and the viewers know how we know each other. Obviously, it's through
Mhm.
Dale, who I actually met Dale through another mutual friend, Rod McLean. And so, it's just indicative of what I like to think my brand and this platform is all about. It's about connecting people and sharing those experiences that bring us together. And honestly, I mean, we're right on the heels of having a new president and vice president in the office. And it's about moving and progressing forward. And hopefully, this is the beginning of a telltale year, not only politically, not only just in the evolution of there's a vaccine out now and things like that, that we're moving forward, but also in building our own brands and creating, new streams of revenue and wealth and generational wealth. Because Dale and I talked about that last week. So I just want to get right into it and say, how is it that you have all of these hats that you're wearing and you're managing it all and you're managing to look very beautiful while doing it? So let's talk about that.
Um, it is not always easy, of course. I won't pretend like it is. Um, my faith really gets me through. I have such a strong faith. That is really what I lean on, especially on the days that feel a little bit harder than others. I've got a great support system, my mom, my sister, my husband. I've got a great group of friends, so I have people around me that are extremely supportive and help me get through. But also, this year, speaking of like new beginnings, I feel like I'm coming into a new beginning of my own. I'm getting into a space where I'm being more confident and really just trying to walk in to my own greatness. So yeah, it's one day at a time. That has been from the beginning of this year. I didn't want to like really start any specific um, resolutions, if you would say.
Okay.
I just wanted to do one day at a time, just give it my best one day at a time and see where that takes me. So,
It seems so simplistic in nature to say just one day at a time, but we all know it's difficult. Every day we wake up, especially in the midst of this past year that we had,
oh,
you
yeah.
know, there was always obviously the fear of COVID, not only of one of us catching it, but losing someone that has caught it, or just the devastating effect that it had. It affected businesses, it affected obviously health, and it's so impactful across the board. And I always say, out of all the things that have happened, unfortunately, tragedy brings us all together in
Oh,
some
yeah.
way, shape, or form. And this has been globally that we've all come together. And so it was pretty difficult, waking up every morning, not really knowing what's going to happen and having that uncertainty loom over you. And you realize that your health is your wealth, and you all are in the health and wealth business
Yeah.
with Guru Fitness. And so it's difficult. And then you don't just think about your own little nucleus within your home, but you think about all of those people who patronize your business, and the businesses that you patronize. And so
Yeah.
it's been a lot. So to say that, I wholeheartedly, I appreciate you honestly just being transparent about it, because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that feel the same way, and
Oh,
they're trying to
absolutely.
navigate it one day at a time, for sure.
Yep.
Well, I know, because Dell was on last week and he was able to share his story, but we all know that when you're in a marriage and you're in a partnership, it takes, not like you said, it's not just the two of you, but you come and you mention that you have a supportive family. And
Hmm.
I know that Dale faced some challenges early on, even probably before you all met. But now that he's out here and you guys have come together to create Guru Fitness, what was that journey like?
So I will definitely give him a lot of credit, majority credit, because that was his vision when he was in prison. It is a blessing that our paths crossed and I was able to partake in getting it to where it is now. But as you know, and I'm pretty sure he elaborated that it was a vision of his. And then there's a truck going by, so I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
Um,
You're fine.
once we met, we were out of a gym not our own gym. And it just really started to grow. It flourished pretty quickly. And we got to a position where we kind of outgrew that place. They didn't get comfortable. So they actually were like, we need y'all to leave. Um, yeah. So, and it's such a blessing. It happened exactly how it was supposed to happen. In the same week, we signed a lease for our gym.
Mm.
So, everything, when I think about the gym and all the things that we've gone through and how we've built this, timing was everything. And it really fell into place the way it was supposed to fall into place. I am definitely behind the scenes on everything. And I like that. I did become a trainer and I coached a lot. I coached through my entire pregnancy.
Wow.
Yeah,
So there's something to be said about that because, I won't say how long ago. Well, my oldest, she's 24, but it was not necessarily encouraged to exercise and work out and things when I was
no,
pregnant that far, long ago. But I love hearing that. I love hearing that you
yeah.
can still maintain your fitness even when you're pregnant.
Well, so I coach. When I got to about, I believe it was like 4 months, I actually quit training.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't think Dale elaborated on this. I missed some parts of his story, so I'll just fill in what I think
Sure.
he might not have mentioned. We suffered miscarriages. So this pregnancy, she is absolutely my rainbow baby. I am so grateful for her, and I just am in awe of her. Um, so we suffered miscarriages, and this journey through pregnancy was different. I had a Lovenox injection that I had to do every day,
Mm.
a progesterone suppository for the first trimester, additional folic acid, baby aspirin, and prenatal every day. So there were things that I had to do, and then eventually I gave up training, and I just still coached.
Right.
So our community is great, though. They wrap their arms around me and they would like demonstrate the exercises for me so that I wouldn't have to. And
Nice.
so they really rallied around us and were just extremely supportive. So although I was able to work during the pregnancy, I did have to give up the fitness for myself. And it was okay. It's hard to watch people work out when you love to work out, though. So it was a
I
little
haven't quite
difficult.
gotten there yet. I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
It
I'm a
is
work in progress.
It is. It's a process, and I'm still not 100% back there. Like I have days that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna kill it this week. I'm ready to go, and then I have days where I'm like, yeah, it's not happening this week. I'm not feeling it.
I get
So
it.
it's definitely it's a process to get to that point. So
Absolutely. Well, let me ask you this because, I've watched several of I mean, you all have a YouTube channel. And
mhm.
I even talked to Dale about this last week when I was just like, what, what advice can you give people who are basically we're sedentary right now. I'm even filming this from home because of us having to be quarantined and whatnot. And he was just like, oh, there's always something that you can do, even when you're sitting at your desk or if you're standing, you have a sit stand. He gave a lot of great tips and
Yeah,
recommendations. And you guys have a huge following on YouTube and on Facebook and Instagram. And with that resonates or it speaks to me to say that, you know what, there is no reason that you can't take care of yourself, no matter what your fitness level is. And it's definitely conveyed in all of your videos. And I look forward to it now. I'm like, you guys, I know we haven't met officially in person yet, but I go and I look every morning to see what new thing that I can do. And it's definitely ignited a fire under me. I haven't quite made it to a gym because we're still on lockdown here in California, but it definitely has got me to moving. I told Dell, I said, one of the things that I'm starting to do is more water intake, and it's little things, and using the restroom upstairs instead of downstairs to get some
Hmm.
steps in, that kind of thing. But who comes up with your marketing and putting out the videos and maintaining? Because I know for a fact, just dealing with the podcast, the marketing side of things and making sure that you're bringing in new clients and you're having that contact, obviously not just for the business, but within the community, that's a full-time job.
And not mine.
I love it. You're like, no, not me.
I am not, I will be so honest, I'm not that great with social media. Especially now. Like now, I really my free time, anytime that I have is like in Eliza's face. So
Mhm.
Dale is absolutely amazing. He is constantly on his phone. But it is a part of, our job. So
For sure.
um all the marketing is him, and it's all organic. It's just him being himself, putting out whatever he feels led to put out that day. He really um doesn't have like this huge strategy behind it. It is just what he's feeling that day is what you're going to get, and it's always great. So
It is.
um everything that has been built has really been built off of his organic post and word of mouth from our community.
You
So
gotta love that.
there's no trick to the marketing. It's just been all him.
Well, I have to tell you, when you have that level of authenticity behind, because we all know social media, I always say it's a life reel of the things that you want to put out there. But
Yeah.
when you have someone, and I think we even started off talking about this even before we came on to the podcast platform, is that when you have this level of authenticity and you are willing to be vulnerable in front of literally the world to
Yeah.
show your perfectly imperfectness, if you will. And it does something, because if I come across a video and I see that, and even when you don't know you all's backstory, and you're looking and you're like, oh, I love this. Like I can see myself doing that, because I hear the encouragement. I watched one video on YouTube, and it was the group all kind of, you guys rallying around each other, and you guys are chanting and getting everyone worked up. When you know you're doing something that's difficult and you're not in it by yourself, it gives you this whole new level of confidence. And you're like, I got this. And I got these
Yeah.
people who are here with me that have my back, and they'll encourage me when I decide, like, oh, I don't know if I can continue this. And they're going to push you on. And that inspired me. And it definitely inspired me over the last week to really take some of those steps and start enacting them in my own life. And so
Yeah.
there's a great deal of encouragement that comes along with it. And you mentioned about community, and I know that you're a community leader and you're led by your faith. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. Um, so do you have a question for me, or you want me to
I
just
do.
dive into
I'm
it?
sorry.
Okay.
Like I thought you were going to say something, but
No, you're fine.
the one thing that I know that you shared with me is that you have a weekly group called Glory to God.
Hmm.
And it's where and is it just solely women, or is it a mixture?
So far, it's just been women. My girls, so it's glory to God, and then I put like and my girls because they have just come through and been so supportive. So right now it is just women. If the men are welcome, they just didn't bite. The women bit, and we've just been holding it down since. So um yeah, I felt led to do this for a while. And one day I was sitting in Eliza's room doing a Bible study while she was still asleep. And I was like, I'm just going to post in our Facebook group. I'm going to start a Bible study and see who wants to come. Like I knew if I didn't do it in that moment, I wasn't going to do it. So I did, it's been a few months and it's been great. We do it every Sunday. We do it at the gym,
Nice.
because most of the girls are from the gym. So it's been, it's just been awesome.
You're taking
It's,
care of your temple and you're taking care of your
yeah,
spiritual needs as well. I love
yeah,
it. I love it.
it's super important. I am not, I don't follow a curriculum. It was important for me to really, not make it like a chore for people, for them to feel like if they missed a week that they would be behind, so then they won't start. You know how like that's kind
Yes.
of like that ripple effect, like, well, I'll wait until Monday, or I'll wait until, and I didn't want that. I wanted it to be like life happens, and if you're not able to make it, you're not going to be behind. When you come next week, the message is still going to be for you. So I don't follow curriculum. I literally pray, invite the Spirit to lead me, and then wherever He leads me is where I follow, and that's what we talk about that week.
And again, that's that being transparent and organic and just allowing people to be in that space that they are.
Yeah,
Your spirituality is very an intimate thing in your relationship with your God or your higher power. And the thing about that is when you're sharing within a group, you get so many different perspectives, and you're able to not only learn different things but also be with people who are of like mind, who want
yeah,
to encourage. And as women, again, I started off with saying we go through so much, and it's nice to be able to be with a group of women. And even if, like you said, hopefully eventually men will join the group as well, but it's nice to bounce things off of each other. And especially with everything that's going on, I don't want to keep looming on the pandemic, but it's nice to be able to talk about things that may be affecting you or emotionally you're trying to kind of navigate through. And you can tap into that group. And
yeah.
glory to God for sustaining us through this pandemic. It's been more than a challenge for sure.
Yeah. And I want to share because I am super excited to share with the girls on Sunday. They don't know yet. And I'm pretty
Another
sure that all of
exclusive.
them, I know, I'm pretty sure that all of them will watch this. So they're going to find out before Sunday, but it's okay.
Okay.
Um, I read an article the other day and it led me to start therapy yesterday. Um,
Oh, life
yeah, and I'm
changing.
super excited about it. I believe that I've struggled a little bit with postpartum.
Hmm.
And it's okay. I'm getting to that point where I'm like, it is okay. So I came across an article that said, prayer is a weapon, therapy is a strategy.
Go
And
ahead. I love that.
yes, and it resonated with me so well. And so I started therapy yesterday and I'm so excited.
I'm proud
Um,
of you. That is
thank you.
amazing. Yes.
Thank you. So I'm so excited to share that with my girls. And, it's not something that is always talked about. People don't feel very comfortable to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's also something that's not that popular in the Black community.
Not at all. Not at all.
So it is something that I'm super excited about. And I felt like I needed to share that today. So
You know what? It's something about the Robinsons, let me tell you. So, with my daughter, who's 24, she'll be 25 this year. I had her when I was 21 years old. And, being that young, and I was in the military and I came home while my husband at the time was out to sea. He was in the Navy. And, I'm dealing with a kid. Now, I've taken care of my baby sister and things, but that's completely different, as we know, than taking care of your own child. And unfortunately, she had colic. And when I tell you she screamed for 6 months straight, it was literally that's all she was just, and we changed formulas. I was breastfeeding. We tried to do everything. I mean, I went to, community, the mothers in the community. What can I do to alleviate? They were showing me different holds, trying peppermint water, warm, and this and that. It was all these different things. And it was just hard to find any solution that stuck. And I'll never forget, my mom was a nurse practitioner, and she came home one day and she's like looking around. She's like, "Where's the baby?" And I was just like, "Oh, she's good." And I just kept, doing what I think I was watching TV. And she's just like, "But where is the baby?" And I was just like, "Oh, she's in the room." And so she went to my room and she didn't see her. And she comes back out. And now I could tell now looking back on it, she was frantic. She's like, "Where is the baby?" And I was just like, "Oh, I put her in your room because she kept crying. I didn't want to hear her anymore." And she's like, "What?" She was like, "Okay." So she rushes back here. And of course, I had her in her little bassinet. She was fine. I had given her a bath, fed her, held her, and everything. And it was like, you have that moment where you're thinking, I've done everything I possibly can. And I think I knew enough that I was frustrated. So I put her somewhere where I knew. And my mom always told me, if they're crying, they're breathing. So, that
Right.
was a good thing. And it was in that moment, I'll never forget that my mom came back out and she had the baby and she was holding her. And she's just like, "Are you okay?" And it was just that, her just asking that question. And the tears just, and I swear, I cried for 2 hours straight. I cried so much, my eyes were just, there was no more. But
Yeah.
in that moment, I recognized that I needed help. And it wasn't like in how to care for a child. I mean, I knew how to do all the caretaking things, but I couldn't bond because I was just like, she doesn't want me. She's crying.
Yeah.
I don't know how to console her. I'm doing all the things that it says and what to do when you're expecting, but it's not coming together. And I didn't know what to do. And my mom had the wherewithal to give me that space to kind of get out. And she called one of my best friend at the time and had her come and get me, and we went and ate and just kind of got away. And in that time that I was out, I started missing my baby. I was just like, "Girl, I gotta go home. I need to see my baby." And when I came back, my spirit was renewed. It didn't take away, which I now know was postpartum depression, but what it did do is give me the space to breathe and to
Hmm.
kind of reassess and come back in and recognize that after a conversation I had with my mom, she was just like, "Baby, you're not the only one that feels this way."
Yeah.
She goes, "This is your first baby. This is daunting. You are, solely responsible for, this little life. And you did all that you could to bring her here, and then now that she's here, you have to continue on this journey." And it was in that moment that she shared some things to me about when she had me, and the difficulties. And I was so glad that we spawned that conversation. And knowing what I know now, because I've been in therapy for a number of different things that have come up in my life. And the interesting thing is that I wish I would have taken that kind of initiative to go ahead and start talking about things. Of course, now, I mean, obviously, I have a podcast and I'm able to
Yeah.
tap into folks, but you are absolutely correct. There are, in our community, it's not necessarily something that is encouraged. You're encouraged to talk to your clergy, or, talk to your girlfriend, or, of course, your spouse. But sometimes you need that. An ear that may not know you personally,
Yeah.
like the folks that are in your tribe. And it's like, I think that should be more encouraged. And can I just tell you, you are so courageous for saying that, and I appreciate you doing that. And it definitely struck a chord with me, so thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Of
And
course.
thank you for sharing. I mean, it's always refreshing to know that you're not alone. And a lot of times that's the case, is you're not alone in the things that you're going through.
Mhm.
People, if they're comfortable enough to talk about it, then it strikes other people to share their stories, and then you realize, like, I'm normal. This is normal. It's fine.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's funny. I was talking to my daughter the other day, and we were jokingly, she was just like, "You know what, Mom, if you were a grandma," I'm like, "Look, I'm not trying to be a grandma. I'm too young to be a grandma right now. Let me just say that." But the funny thing is like, she was just like, that's right. Cause she goes, what did you say? I was hell on wheels. I was just like, well, it was challenging, but it's like, it's those things that when I think about every pregnant lady, I almost gets that book, What to Expect When You're Expecting. And you realize that 9 times out of 10, everything in there, yeah, it's textbook, but things fall outside of that realm.
Oh, yeah.
And
And
learning,
every baby's different.
they do not come with a manual for sure.
No, every baby is different. And so for me, the one of the difficult things is accepting this is that Eliza is an angel. She never
She's
cries.
beautiful.
She is like, she's just a great baby. She's so good. I always joke with people, they're like, oh my God, she's giving me baby fever. And I'm like, you know how some people will say, well, take my kid for a little while and like, she's the opposite. I'm like, I would offer her up, but you would want 10 of her. Like, she's really good. So I had this guilt, like, why do I feel like so emotional when I have this great baby that doesn't cry? She's not bad, like, what is wrong with me? So it was hard to accept, but I realized like every baby is different.
Mhm.
Some of the things people told me I would go through, I'm not experiencing. Some things people said that I would go through, I am. And it's different. There is no manual. It's new for her, it's new for me, even new for Dale. I mean, his experience this go around is completely different from when he had his boys. So
Exactly.
everything is so new, everything is different, and everybody's journeys are so different that you do sometimes need to step back and like, hmm, I might need somebody that doesn't actually know me to tell me how strong I am and
Mm,
that I can get through it
absolutely.
without like already knowing how strong I am. You
Absolutely.
know?
We need reminders. I say
Yeah.
that all the time is like, for the most part, what you see is what you get. I like
Mhm.
to look at the glass as half full instead of half empty. And sometimes I like to think it's just brimming over. But then there's those days that I wake up and I'm just like, dang, am I gonna make it through today? And then
Yeah.
realize I'll get a kind word, or I'll see something on social media that reminds me, girl, you got this. You got
Yeah.
this. You can do this. So I agree with you wholeheartedly. I want to switch gears a little bit because
Okay.
we know you're an amazing mommy and you're doing good things for yourself and your family. But you also you mentioned the Dale's two sons, your bonus sons.
Mhm.
And tell me what that's like, being that, you have a husband that he's already self-admittedly that, he served time in prison and he was not there, and he shared this in the capacity that he wanted to be there for his sons. And now he has this opportunity to be there for Eliza. And it's like you have this new beautiful family. What is that like, blending all of these components coming together into one unit?
It is truly special. The boys have been great to me. And I know that sometimes when I say it out loud, I'm like, people are going to think like they are just so perfect and everything's just great. It's not always like that. Some situations, it just is. And it's just, we're blessed. My experience with the boys has been effortless. It's just been a great thing. I think part of that is because they were already almost adults, when I was involved. So, um, Wandell was in high school, Delvon was in college, so they were already of this age where, they could tell like my dad's happy and that's what matters and she's good to us. So um it's been great, and I'm just so glad that she has these protectors and she has these men that are going to be her role models and are going to be able to have like this different relationship with her and connect with her in a different way, because they are so much older than her, you know?
Sure.
So, um, it's truly been a blessing, and it has not been a rocky, like, step parent situation, because it could have been. It's not always easy. I've had a step parent, so I know that it's not always, rainbows and butterflies. But for our situation, it's been a smooth ride. So we're blessed.
That, can I tell you, is a true blessing because I have step parents on both sides. My mom had remarried twice, and my dad remarried, and she's a blessing in our lives. I shared last week with Dell that my dad had some uh, substance abuse issues when I was coming up, and he definitely has been in recovery and shares his story often. But I think about, my stepdads when they came into our lives and offered that stability in our lives. And sometimes it wasn't always, like you said, butterflies, but the wonderful thing is that we knew that we were loved and that we had the support of a village,
Yeah.
around us. And I really, my two stepfathers have passed on, and so has my mom. But my stepmom is still here, and she's still in. We have a very close relationship, and she and I have always been able to have a great relationship because of her. I was able to continue to forge a relationship and have some healing with my own father. And it's been really refreshing. And even now as an adult, she's still there. She calls me weekly and she'll check on us and just make sure that we're okay. And I appreciate that because you
Yeah.
recognize that when your village is strong, then you're strong, you know. And I know being in a blended family, it has its challenges. I mean, you think about from a financial standpoint, you're out there in multiple, in two
Yeah.
households, that kind of thing. And so even with that, when you work through those kind of issues, and if anything comes up, you're able to kind of tackle it on, and you realize that you guys are a unit, and that
Yeah.
shows. It shows. I saw the pride when your youngest decided to come back home to Kentucky to go to school. And I love watching it unfold through social media, and now forging this new friendship
Yeah.
that we have. But it's a blessing to see, and it's a blessing to see how you all rally around each other. And it's good. It's that guru mindset that your husband talks about.
I know it, girl.
Absolutely. Let's talk about that a little bit because there's a lot of people, and I'm going to just be really exclusive to our community, that we've had people that have served time, and I know it's difficult when they come out and they're trying to start anew, and because they've gone through this reform, or you hope, and they come out and they're like, okay, I have a game plan. Like Dale said, I have a game plan. This is what I'm going to do when I come out. And I asked him, I said, when you have doors that are closing your face, like, how do you deal? And he goes, you know that that's going to happen when you come out, and you just have to continuously regroup. And he was like, I'd be remiss to say that it didn't bother me. But then I look at this relationship that you all have, and he has this beautiful, supportive woman that's right there by his side. I won't even say behind him, but right there by his side and helping. How do you cope when you see a door closed in his face, knowing that people are judging him by a mistake from the past, as opposed to seeing him as the Dale Robinson that we know?
Yeah. Um, I truly, the best way I have learned to deal with that is, if anybody is quick to judge him and not give him an opportunity for the things that he's gone through, although he has proven himself time and time again that he has grown to be this amazing man. Um, we don't need them in our life.
Oh, say that again. Right?
We
Yeah.
don't need that. So that's not the way that we're supposed to go.
Mhm.
And the like we'll be directed to the right path. So I don't get so worked up about it. And I can't because I would probably lose my mind, um, and be like defensive about it. But that's just the reality of it, is that if somebody is so stuck on the old person, then I don't want to deal with them. I don't want them to have this part in our new life. So, and it also helps that it doesn't matter if anybody says no, he's going. Like he's gonna find that different path. He's gonna connect with the right people, um, to get wherever it is that he's wanting to go. So, I don't get really deterred by it. I know that that's not the way, and we're gonna find a different way,
He's definitely a force to be reckoned with, and I
girl.
can just tell. I can tell, and I see why the two of you work so well, and that you balance each other out. You have this calm demeanor about you, and I know that it helps. I call it the beauty and the beast. He's out there in beast mode or guru mode and making things happen, and you're back there, and you have this calming, soothing side of you that no matter what he's facing out there, once he comes home, I'm sure that's in that solace, and you
Yeah.
provide that for sure.
Did he give you like the gorilla and turtle reference? I'm surprised he didn't.
No, but do share, please.
Okay, so Dale is very much the gorilla in the relationship. He is like, go get it, full on. I mean, and you got to see that. So
Yes.
it's like nothing stopping him. He's tunnel vision, he's on it. I'm the turtle. I move very slow. I have to like cross every T, dot every I, and really just like take a strategic approach, make sure that it all makes sense. And so that's where that's our balance. That is like, he's like, let's go, let's go, let's go, which is great because sometimes we need that. But
Right.
then there's also sometimes that we need to like step back and think about it and make sure it all makes sense and
Mm.
that we're making the right moves. So we really have that. We have a good balance. He helps me to move forward and quit like procrastinating on it. And then sometimes I help him like slow down and let's make sure that it all makes sense.
Absolutely. Well, that brings me to mommy's promises. And I was so pleased as he and I were closing out our conversation last week. And he was just like, you, and I love a man that supports his woman. Okay. Number one, he supports his family, his woman, his business. And he was just like, you need to have my wife on here. And let me tell you, she's a published authoress as well. And she has a book that was based on having Eliza, and it's mommy's. I'm gonna let you talk about it because I want you to do it justice. I know that, and I just want to throw this out here, folks. It is available currently on Amazon.com. Let me just say that.
Yes.
But please tell us about the book.
So super special. Was inspired by literally staring at Eliza
Mm.
and wanting to. Okay, this book is not like just like a frou-frou children's book that is, you know, it contains real life questions and scenarios that I believe one day we're going to have.
Mm.
And I wanted to be able to really answer any question that she has with a promise that I'm going to do my best and I'm going to be there for her. So I'll give you an example of like one of my favorite pages is it's it's in a format of Eliza, like as a little girl, like a toddler age, and her like asking me, "Mommy, why do you rush?"
Mm.
That's gonna happen one day.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna happen. Um, my response to that is, Well, I rush because sometimes I'm running late and I need to get somewhere. But if you ask me to slow down, I promise I will do that, because we get so wrapped up in these things that aren't important. We're rushing around and it's not anybody's fault but our own. But in hindsight, we're going to wish we slowed down and spent that time with our kid and not rush the process and rush everything. So that's one of my favorite things. It just was a way for me to kind of be intentional about how I'm parenting her and how I'm going to be able to respond to these questions that she's going to have for me one day. So that's really where it came from. And it's amazing. We're like in cartoon figures. So
And a very good
shout out to
depiction of you
Jason
too. I
Shepard.
love it.
Yeah. Jason Shepard illustrated it. He's absolutely amazing. I reached out to him, sent him the script. He nailed every bit of it. He got the vision. It was just that clear cut. It came together great. So it's just it's real life situations. There are questions that she's going to ask me one day, and I want to be prepared, but I also want her to have this thing that is really in her hands, and she's going to be able to know how much I love her and how much I have adored her from the time that she was born. And it's a physical thing that she is always going to be able to have. So that's it's special to me too.
It's a declaration of your love, and there's
Yeah.
nothing like the love between a mother and daughter. I mean, my mom is no longer here, and I say this all the time. I talk about her all the time, and I mean, I don't have something like mommy's promises, but what I do have are birthday cards, and she would always write something so endearing. Or I want to say it was a couple of years ago, on iPhone, you can keep your messages, and I kept meaning to back them up. And one day I was clearing out messages and I erased everything and I couldn't get it back. And I was devastated. And I realized that, you know what? Her promise is right here with me. But to have something like this it's tangible and it's in your hand that can remind you, I think it's absolutely just wonderful. I think even Dale said in the back of the book, there is a place where you can write special message to your daughter. And I just think it's absolutely a wonderful idea. And if you all haven't gotten the book yet, please do so because it is available on Amazon. I know that I've put in my order. And so,
Yay.
this is something that can carry on. And I said to myself, I said, my kids are 16 and 24, but you know
Yeah.
what? It still doesn't mean that you cannot make that declaration of love to them because let's face it, we need it more so now than ever before.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that it's yes, it's a we're in these cartoon character, but it's a real life book and it can apply to any age. I mean, I literally call my mom every single day, multiple times a day,
Mhm.
getting on her nerves. She would say that she would probably joke and say that I do get on her nerves, but there are times that I still will call her and be like, Mom, I don't know how to do this. Like, can you tell me how to, so you're always in some way, if you have access to your mom, you're always going to need her.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Oh yeah.
so this book really is real life and can apply to any age. And like, if somebody doesn't have a mom in their life and just have a dad, replace mommy with daddy. It's still
Absolutely.
just as special.
I love that it's all interchangeable. And I have to tell you, if I had that opportunity to have my mom here, absolutely. But I think that's how I keep her spirit alive. In our family, we talk about her daily. And
Yeah.
she passed away in 2015. But I mean, right now, even with the inauguration and the pandemic, we all say mommyisms, what she would say, if she was still here. And it's just a way of keeping her enveloped around me.
Yeah.
So
And I love that.
yeah,
And I'm so sorry because
thank you.
5 years to 6 years, does not get any easier.
No, it
So
doesn't.
completely empathetic with that, and
Thank
I
you.
apologize.
And you know what I say to that is that when people I know, like, we family is family. The dynamic, we all it like you said, it's not gonna always be butterflies and sunshine,
Yeah,
but I would do anything. I think about sometimes when she would get on my nerves, I get on hers. I do anything to have those moments now.
yeah,
But all I can say is, and I always share this, you let people know what they mean to you while they're here. I mean, we're quick to sometimes act in anger, but us also, let's be quick to act in love. And
yeah,
the last time that I saw my mom, the last words that I said to her was, I love you. And that gives me so much comfort. And she knew that I loved her, and I knew that she loved me, no matter where we were at any given point. Even when she would be chastising me about something, I knew that she loved me. And so that's so important. And I think Mommy's Promises is a perfect reminder that even when Eliza might get in trouble or get on punishment, she can pick that book up and know that her mommy has made a promise to her that she's here to love her through everything. And so
yeah.
that is incredible. Incredible.
Thank you.
Wow. I have enjoyed this conversation with
Me
you.
too.
It has been absolutely wonderful. And I see why Dale speaks so highly of you. And he's so appreciative of the family that he has in this unit. And you guys are doing amazing things together. And
Thank you so much.
I see that guru mindset. I am definitely adopting a lot of the things that he's put in his book. And you've made me really want to reconnect and make sure that my kids know I love them. Even when I have to get on their case about something, I love you, love you, love you. And I'm going to make some declarations to them. And, even if that means that I have to text it to them, I will, because it seems like that's how I know.
But that really is the way of the world now. And
For sure.
it's okay. That is how I communicate with my bonus boys.
Right.
That's how I really express my love for them is through text messages.
Mhm.
It's an easier way. Sometimes with that generation,
Yeah.
it's a better way for them to communicate. And sometimes it's easier for people just to write it out. So
Mhm.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
You can't dispute black and white. And when it's there and you're
No.
able to see it and it's tangible, then hey, it's real.
And one day they will go back and they will hold, because I guarantee you they haven't deleted one text from you. They will
That's
hold on
true.
to that forever and go back and read them one day and think, my mom loved me so much. And I remember this message that she sent me. Like
Absolutely.
they'll have such a powerful meaning, whether it was in a text or whether it was in a birthday card or an email, whatever it is, it's always going to be imprinted on them in some kind of way.
Absolutely. Well, I have to tell you, as we get ready to close out, this has been a wonderful conversation that I've had with you. And I want to extend the opportunity for you to, give a shout out to anybody that you want to give an accolade to before we close out.
Sure. Um, First and foremost, my husband, of course. Thank you so much for always believing in me
Mm,
and for connecting me with Cheryl and giving me this opportunity. My mom, because I know she's dying to watch this. I absolutely love and adore you. And I thank you so much for always being so supportive. And
mm.
my girls, I don't even have to say anything. Y'all know where it's at. And you, thank you so much for this opportunity. Truly, it is an honor to be able to step in somebody else's platform and to speak so freely and comfortably and know that you are accepted and somebody is meeting you right where you're at, and just being happy that you're talking to them. So I thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for being so honest and open and candid and definitely sharing your not only your life and your marriage and being a bonus mom and actualizing your dreams, writing this Mommy's Promises and all of these things that you're doing, you are definitely touching millions. I guarantee it. I'm speaking that into existence.
Thank
And
you.
even in this conversation, this is our first one on one conversation. And it was like, I've learned so much, not only about you, but about myself. And you have this calming effect, and I need that in my life. So, girlfriend, you have a new friend, just so you know. You're stuck
You
with me.
call me or text me anytime.
I certainly appreciate that. And, one of the things that I always say, it's important for us to check on each other and to
Yeah.
make sure that we're all doing well. And especially, I won't say why, but because of the things that are going on in the world.
Yeah.
But it's wonderful to touch base and know that you're okay, even when sometimes the walls are closing in around you. You're like, okay, is this normal? And you get that check. But even beyond that, it's really important to take care of yourself. And so you have served as a reminder of that, of not only taking care of others that are around you, but also taking care of yourself. So for that, I thank you. And I am so thankful to have you on All About the Experiences.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, with that being said, until next week, if you want to know anything that's going on the All About the Experiences platform or brand, always go to www.allabouttheexperiences.com. If you want to reach out to me directly, Cheryl at allabouttheexperiences.com. And definitely, when you go and get your copy of Mommy's Promises, it is available on Amazon, and all of this will be available on all of my social media platforms, just in case you forget. So, with that being said, have an experiential rest of your week.